Good afternoon, dear students. This is Amrita BL from AAC Independent PU College, Department of Biology. So, in our previous video session, we have gone through the meaning, definition of biodiversity, types of biodiversity. So, the major types of biodiversity included genetic diversity, species diversity, ecological diversity or ecosystem diversity. So, each one of the type has been defined and we have also gone through with the examples of each type. So, continuing with the chapter, today let us know about the estimation of number of species on earth and in India. That is about the global biodiversity and biodiversity in India. So, basically there are two estimations. The first estimation was made by IUCN. IUCN stands for International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. The second estimation was made by Robert May, who was a well-known ecologist. Coming to the first estimation, according to IUCN's estimation, in the year 2004, the total number of plants and animal species is about 1.5 million, whereas the estimation of Robert May tells that the global diversity is about 7 million. So, that is only 22% of total diversity has been recorded so far. Then coming to the first one, the plant species, which includes algae, fungi, bryophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. On whole, it accounts for about 22% of the total weightage. Then coming to the animals, more than 70% of animal species have been discovered, described and recorded. So out of 10 animals on this planet, the 7 are belong to the insects. That mean to say insect population is comparatively higher than the other organisms. The number of fungi species, which was counted approximately about 72,000 species. The number of fungal species in the whole world is more than the aggregate of the species of fishes, amphibians, reptiles and mammals. Now the question arises, why only animal species are higher than the plant species? The reason behind this increase is because they show greater diversification. Now what do you mean by greater diversification? The word diversification means it is nothing but enlarging or to expand or varying in its range. So animals have achieved greater diversification than plants. Why could it be so? So here are some of the reasons that have been followed here. The first and foremost is the animals have nervous system. You may know about the nervous system better. The nervous system, the main function of the nervous system is to receive the impulses or what you call it as stimulus or stimuli and respond to that particular stimulus. So this helps animals to overcome the challenges and survive in the changing environment or what you call it as surrounding. So here is the first and foremost reason why animals show greater diversification is because they have a very well developed nervous system. So due to this response and stimulus action, they have capacity to overcome the challenges or they have capacity to withstand the changes that is taking place in a near environment. The second reason is because the animals have a special feature of mobility or they show movement or what you call it as locomotion. That means they have capacity to move or relocate from one place to the another place in order to avoid the competition for the resources. Here the resources may be like food, fodder, shelter or habitat. right? Then the third one, animals are subjected to less seasonal changes and more constant environment. That means here the plants have a special capacity, or the plants have special sense to change the, or they have special capacity to sense the changes in the season. First and foremost, the leaves will change its color, then it will get dried, and finally it will drop off. So whereas the plants has this special capacity and the animals lacks this special feature, that is why they are less susceptible to the seasonal changes. Then lastly, it is animals have more complexity of their body structure than the plants, which are comparatively underdeveloped, and it is simple organization is seen in case of plants. That means the body structure or the complexity of the body structure is more in case of animals, whereas in case of plants it is very simpler form, or it is in the primitive form. So all these are the results, or all this has resulted in higher species development or higher species diversity among the animals than the plants. Now, so we can also see a tremendous diversification in case of insects also. So how could it be possible? So the reason here is the insects being smaller in size, and hence they are subjected to constant threat from the environment. Say for an example, if the environment is too dry, the body of the insects can easily become dry, but the insect's body is prevented from drying due to the presence of thick strong cuticle called as exoskeleton. So we know that the exoskeleton is made up of a protein called as chitin. So this chitin, or what you say it as exoskeleton, will provide the strength and protection to the body and prevents the water loss during the dry conditions. So this is one of the major reason to show the greater diversification of insects. So far we have been talking about the diversification of plants, fungi, animals and insects. So now we will be talking about the prokaryotes. How about the prokaryotes then? So we all know that the prokaryotes are the microscopic single-celled organisms. They are known as prokaryotes. So basically archaea and bacteria are included as the prokaryotes. So here there are no such estimations are available for prokaryotes. So due to the following reasons, the first and foremost thing is these prokaryotes are hard to detect and hard to count, and finally it is hard to classify. So prokaryotes are hard to detect, count and classify. Secondly, there are no such conventional methods. That means they do not have any traditional way of approach for identification purpose or for characterization of the microbial species. And thirdly, many species of prokaryotes cannot grow in a laboratory settings, or in an laboratory conditions. These prokaryotes are difficult to cultivate, or they are difficult to culture. So this was about the global diversity. In global diversity we have talked about in general about the plant species, animal species as well as the prokaryotes. So now let us talk about the biodiversity in India. We all know that India has tremendous biodiversity. It displays significant and magnificent biodiversity. So India is divided into biogeographical zones, or what do you call it as biogeographical regions. So what do you mean by biogeographical zones or regions? So it is nothing but it is the study of distribution of species, how well the species are distributed, or how well the organisms have been distributed in its ecosystem. So the study of distribution of species, organisms and its ecosystem is known as biogeographical zones. There are some biogeographical zones listed in India, such as Himalayan zones, desert zones, western Ghats, coastal zones and islands. All these are the biogeographical zones in India. So according to IUCN, IUCN means International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. India is a mega diverse country with only 2.4% of world's land area. So only 2.4% of world's area has been accounted here, and it accounts for 8.1% of all recorded species, and out of this 2.4 land area, 8.1%, so this land area has about 8.1% of species diversity. So the species diversity here will include both animal species as well as the plant species of the world. So there are about 45,000 species of plants and twice as many as animals. That will fetch you around 91,000 animal species have been recorded in India, out of which 60,000 species of insects, 2,450 species of fishes, 1,230 species of birds, over 440 species of reptiles and 372 species of mammals, and finally 200 species of amphibians. So that is why it makes India one of the 12 mega diversity countries of the world. So thank you, dear students.